Yep, here we go. John Harbaugh is about to make his run at a Super Bowl. But in the meantime, let's hear about the first step. This first game against the Texans with a quick press conference. Let's go.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
So again, shout out to John Harbaugh, the second most tenured coach in the NFL. This is before he actually found out he is playing the Texans. So this is just going to be a little bit about him. Let's jump into it.
Everybody, appreciate you being here. It's a great day for football, right? It's perfect, and every day is a great day for football. Our guys were into it. Appreciated the energy, the focus. It was a good football practice. It's good to be practicing football at this time of year, and our guys were into it. So I really appreciate that from them. And then the other thing is that some of the guys, some guys were named to the All-Pro team, first team and second team. Just want to congratulate those guys on that accomplishment. You know, it's a heck of a thing to be a Pro Bowl player. It's a heck of a thing to be an All-Pro player. And also Eric DeCosta for I think it was Executive of the Year. Was it PFF? I think it was. So that's a very, very well deserved for Eric, and I think it's an honor for the whole personnel department and the great job that they've done. So, what questions you have?
John, we saw Mark Andrews was back out there on the practice field. Any kind of timetable on when he might actually be available to play a game?
I think we're on the same timetable that we were on. You know, we're in that range. You know, but today was the first day. Did individual. That was it. So we kind of ramped from there, and just we'll get into next week, and we'll have a better idea.
Andrews plays in this Texans game, I am absolutely taking Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. That is going to be a lock if that man plays. He is electric. He is very hard to cover. And if he is healthy, he is going to be the difference maker. He might have, unfortunately, been hurt at the right time to come back ready for the playoffs. So I'm hoping Mr. Andrews is playing.
Overall, you're pretty happy with the way the guys are progressing health-wise leading up to next weekend?
I am happy with it. You know, it's still early to really predict too much. I mean, there's a ways to go for guys, but they're certainly on track, and I think we'll know more next week.
John, back to Mark.
One quick thing I want to add real quick. If Rich Eisen, the GOAT, Rich Eisen, gets his way, then his dream, or his whatever, was to see both Harbaughs win a championship this year. Now, we already got Jim winning one at Michigan. Does John complete that dream? And if so, I want Rich Eisen at that press conference or whatever. Rich Eisen needs to be a part of it because he put that into existence. Both Harbaughs went into the same year. That would be electric and amazing. So,
just having him out there participating, what kind of a lift does that give his teammates, you guys? Like just having that type of player back out there practicing with you guys.
Sure. I mean, everybody's excited for Mark. I mean, Mark, you see him in the training room every day. He's in the weight room. He's in the meetings. Everybody knows, and everybody kind of knew he's coming out and practicing. So they're happy for Mark. You know, you always want to see one of the brothers back out there doing their thing.
All the news of this week regarding coaching staffs and everything, more of the old guard is moving on or moving elsewhere. Just the second most tenured NFL coaches. What's that like? Is there anything that you might take away from just seeing more of that moving on?
Second.
Finally got the question about the second most tenured coach. So here he goes. Tell us, buddy, man. This is going to be amazing.
Most tenured and the second oldest. You failed to mention. You know.
I was being nice.
You were being appreciated. I appreciate that. It's like my grandfather always used to say. It's better than the alternative, right? So we appreciate that, and those guys. I think those guys are guys. I can remember coming up as a young special teams coach in this league, and the old guard, the Scott O'Briens, the Pete Rodriguez's, the Brad Steeleys, the Wayne Severes, those guys who you take you under your wing and treat you with respect, you know, and kind of show you the ropes, you know, how much those guys mean to you. And those guys, some of them have passed on even, you know, and are out of football now or aren't with us anymore. And then now some of the head coaches that are moving on, you know, and moving to the next thing that you have the same kind of regard for, that you look up to, and you feel so appreciative of what they gave to you as a coach and what they gave to the game, you know. So, and these are iconic coaches, you know, so nothing but respect and admiration for those guys and what they've accomplished. the opportunity to compete, take teams against those guys is something that I'll always cherish and remember, for as long as I live. So those guys are great coaches. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them back though too. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, Coach, we were talking with some of your coordinators yesterday, and obviously they're getting calls from other teams. What type of advice have you been able to provide them, obviously, with their focus being on a game?
Yeah, that's lock in. That's my advice. But they are. Those guys are locked in and just they're excited about where we're going as a team. And I think they just take the opportunities as they come. These are preliminary type interviews, get to know each other type interviews. So it's a great experience for those guys. I'm really happy for them, really proud of them. I think you go in there and you be yourself, present who you are. The one thing that's important to me is I feel like, this was something going way back to 2008 was, you want to make sure that you're genuine with the people about who you are and what you believe in as a coach, and that the teams are genuine and honest with you. And I just look back on Steve and Ozzie and everybody involved in those interviews, just presenting exactly what they were looking for in a coach and who they were as an organization. I can tell you, 16 years later, everything I learned about the Ravens organization and came walking out of those interviews, understanding who they were, has proven to be the case over 16 years. They're still who they were. And to me, and I like to think I'm still who I was then in terms of, just being honest about it. And to me, that gives you a chance when you're honest with one another. Walking in, who you're going to be and what you believe in.
That's poetic. I mean, I don't really know how much better you could have put that or worded it or whatnot, but yeah, I mean, you got to present who you are. I think that was the problem with so many organizations is people put on this front of who they're going to be and everything like that, but yet then you finally get into the locker room and you finally start putting, that tire to pavement kind of thing. And it just doesn't work because people are not believing in the person you were because you weren't upfront with them at the beginning. So John is over here dropping amazing knowledge, whatever the hell. Can't even think of the superlative. But yeah, more coaches need to listen to guys like this and need to listen to these storied organizations of guys that have been tenured for a long period of time and have seen coaches, both on the offensive, defensive, and special teams, come and go. Yet their success remains. That tells me it's a little bit more than just coaching. It's a cohesive culture and a cohesive unit moving forward. So for that reason, I think that he's imparting immense knowledge on these guys, and I hope more people listen in the future.
We talked to Lamar the other day, and he talked about how anxious he was to get to the game. How is it for you with this week off and even watching these weekend games?
Same thing. You kind of, one party wants to be out there playing and going at it, and the other party appreciates that you already want to know for the week. And like I told the guys, they have earned this victory. Every one of the 13 victories had a part in this win this week that has been accomplished in the wild card weekend because of what they did all season. That's a big deal. That's something very valuable and very meaningful thing. With that, it's not a vacation week. It's not an off week. It's a work week. It's a work week to become, the team that we need to be going forward into next week. And our guys are taking that real seriously.
How quickly do you guys kind of snap into action as a staff when you figure out by Sunday afternoon what's next week?
Well, that's right. I think what we'll do is we'll look at the Saturday game, and we'll assume that's our opponent, and we'll snap into action after that, and we'll start working on that team. And then if it changes, then we'll re-snap into action for the new opponent. But the good thing for us is the opponents the opponent that would come into the picture on Sunday is one that we played very recently. So that helps. It's helpful the way it worked out for us.
Are you happy you don't have to play in some of the weather these guys are going to have to play in?
My goodness, yeah. I mean, I thought the Denver playoff game in 2012 was cold. I know it was because I was free. I couldn't speak. I was trying to say field goal. Randy Brown asked me all the time. He said, "You got the F out." It's like, what do you think I was trying to say? It's time for a field goal, So it's going to be interesting in Kansas City. It's going to be very interesting. We've already got some scouts whose flights have been canceled going out there. We're trying to get out there to scout the game, which is legal in pro football, by the way.
God, if you guys don't know, his brother's getting in trouble possibly with the NCAA in Michigan for scouting opponents, or at least somebody in his organization. So that's a solid one right there.
It looks like NFL Network just reported that Gennard Wilson injured for the Giants taken by sporting position. Could you confirm that for us?
Yes, he has. Yes.
Hard to hear that last question, but regardless, this is the man that coaches the Baltimore Ravens, and what a mighty fine job this man does. Mr. Harbaugh, I have nothing but props for you. I'm super excited for this game on Saturday versus the Texans. Good luck in that. But just in case you guys ever need any more breakdowns, need any more reactions or anything like that, make sure to subscribe at the socials below.